Hey y'all, this is your boy, Cardinal Lawn Life. What's going on, Cardinal Lawn Life? Lawn Monsters. Hopefully, everybody's night is going well and everybody's evening. As of right now, I got me some dinner right here on a plate. As of right now, I have some noodles. I have some. It looks like some chicken, maybe, and then some little broccoli, little trees, little broccoli thing. So I got me a little dinner right here on a plate. Um, Getting ready to do a little eating here. Um, I know I said I was going to be on here Sunday, but I got a little bored. And so I wanted to kind of come on here. As of right now, I had to stick on a hat for this. Um, Little thing here. So it's like you know if you know what I'm saying, we got it. And as of right now, I do have to talk about a few things here. Okay, if you haven't already noticed, I am a big lawn care. Or not a lawn care, but well, I am a big fan of lawn care. Always will, always have. I've done it for quite a while. Uh, I've been going in and out of business, but this is the last time I'm going in and out of business. Now, I'm going to tell you when and if we move and stuff like that, I will be a cowboy, doing some more cowboy work and stuff like that. Now, here's the biggest thing that I'm actually into. Okay. I'm into like lawn care and NASCAR. And I'm going to tell you, my two favorite drivers are Kyle Busch and uh, Denny Hamlin. All right. They're both fixing to retire soon, is what I'm hearing. Now, these two favorite drivers that I am on here actually talking about as of right now are going to be my favorite drivers for this long run. Okay. Hi, Rolel. Hopefully your evening is going well. As of right now, like I've been saying, I'm a huge NASCAR fan. I watch them or try to watch them every Sunday after, you know, doing what I do. So whether or not I'm working, I try to, stay tuned and tolerable with, the whole um, Kyle Busch and follow NASCAR. Now, once these drivers actually retire, I'm not going to be following NASCAR no more and stuff like that. But NASCAR is my two favorites that I actually kind of, enjoy watching. Um, Kyle Busch and Denny Hamlin are my both, like I said, my favorite drivers. Always will, up until um, they actually retire. So, you know, whether or not people like NASCAR, I'm the biggest fan around of NASCAR, and I try to tend to watch them every Sunday, and stuff like that. Now, I do, like I said, I do have um, a dinner plate right here next to me, which has some noodles, um, uh, broccoli, and a little bit of chicken on the side, I think. Not really sure. But it's it's pretty good when it comes to food. And I'm always eating, whether or not it's on the channel or whatever, I'm always eating. Um, I'm not, going to sit here and lie, but I'm always eating on this channel. I'm always doing something. Um, I'm not always not doing something, but and I've done, I'm going to sit here and tell you that I'm doing a really, really big job I'm cleaning out a room, okay, for lawn care. I'm actually, trying to do a little work while I'm waiting for stuff to start growing. So while I'm waiting, I'm cleaning up a room. And and yesterday I did a little bit of it, and today I did a little bit of it. But yesterday, what I did do is I maintained and cleaned up a walkway, which was concreted in. It was like a sidewalk and stuff like that. So it looks good. It's back to where you can actually see it. So I did that, got it to where it needed to be and everything. And of course, this will be the hat that I wear probably all of the lives instead of wearing a work hat and stuff. So this will probably end up being the hat that I wear after I do lawn care and all this other stuff. So again, I kind of like doing what I do. And I actually absolutely love doing what I do. Making money, whether or not it's outside or indoors, I'm always doing something. So, as of today, I got a race car. I got 2 buckets, and everything. And, and I'm not going to sit here and tell you that work is that easy, because at times it does get hard. And a lot of times when you're running solo and you don't have a whole lot of people, then you're trying to go for that much of what you got to do to get paid and get it done and get it done for. So it's like, but you're always taking your time to do what you got to do. So whether or not you're doing it on your time, you're doing it on the customer's time as well. So the time that you get on the job and the time that they want the job done, you're always constantly working. There's never a time that you're not working, because you're going to be working whether or not it's what they wanted or what they want. So it's in between the jobs that you're wanting. Now, it's not easy to be a landscaper. It's not easy to be a cowboy or whatever. But once you get to where you need to be and follow them footsteps, you're doing what you gotta do. Now, I do some of these YouTube shorts and stuff like that. Now, here's the one thing. I'm gonna try to talk to my customer Monday, and I'm gonna see if I can't try to do a little bit of recording whenever it comes time to doing lawn care and trying to do what I got to do. So that way I can get a little bit of footage with my YouTube and stuff like that, doing my lives and stuff like that. Now, I'm going to try to do my landscaping live for you all. Okay. Like I'm going to try to do like all the jobs that I can on a recording. Like even when I'm driving or whatever during the drive time, I'm going to try to do footage. If I can get this to where it works again, doing my YouTube lives, I can record, me doing work. Otherwise, I'm going to probably have to try to save up for a camera, a GoPro, or a camera with a stand, to do all of my things, and then come home every day after work, and try to edit these YouTube videos. Now, there's going to be a time that I'm not always home and having to cut these YouTube videos out when they're long enough. But, I'm probably going to do. Now, there's probably a time that it's not going to be so easy to where I can actually do all this recording that I'm wanting to do and then have all the footage. ready and on put on YouTube. So, with that all being said, I'm trying to get to where I can actually do the footage for you all to see where I'm actually at when it comes to landscaping and taking care of these yards and maintaining these yards. Now, I'm also going to see if I can't talk to my pastor for the church to see whenever I start, doing, YouTube and stuff to see if I can't record myself doing the weed eating and edging and blowing over there. Now, pretty much the only time you're going to get to see me doing the mowing footage is when I'm doing it for a customer for, her yard. Now, it's going to be faced out towards, the road. So I'm not, but I don't know how it's all going to work out. But if I can get the okay from her to get, the footage and everything for, me doing lawn care work and doing everything and showing you how to do it and get the stuff done the proper way and whatnot. Now, you might say, how can you do a 3-point turn on a 0 turn, whatever? You're going to go into the Y, out of the Y, and in. Okay, so even if you're backing up, you're going out of the Y, into the Y, and going straight. Okay, so it gets to where it needs to be. Now you don't want to turn super fast because that tire that's on the back of that lawnmower gets, it kind of helps you when that lawnmower turns. That back tire ain't turn. It ain't, it ain't moving when like you are in drive. So when you make that turn, that tire on that, when you do that 3-point turn, that tire is going to tear up the sod. So if you go, that's why you got to go into the Y, out of the Y, and straight. Okay. I try to go over that as much as I can because I can get the questions answered. Now, sometime in between 8:30 or 7:30, we're going to play a landscaping game, a lawn care game. In between 7:30 and 8:30, we're doing a lawn care game. So I want to try to get as many people into this live chat as much as I can because I'm going to ask them questions. They're going to ask me questions, and I'm going to try to answer them. And it's all going to be based on what careers they have, what they like to do within that career, and stuff like that. What their favorite part is in their career. What is it that they don't like about the career, stuff like that. So it's all going to be a question lawn care game. So if you know any friends or family or whatever that might want to join this, get them in, get them into the chat. Because it's going to be based on whether or not they like working, whether or not they do like working. It's going to be a question, matter of fact game. Okay. So if you know anybody, I'm going to start doing I'm going to start having my supper here. After I make a quick phone call. So, yeah, just hang tight. I'm going to put myself on mute. Sorry, I was on my mute. I was on mute. I forgot I was on mute. We're doing a lawn care question game. Okay, so if there's anybody else that you might want to play, you can get them into this live chat. It's not going to be until 7:30 or 8:30. We're doing a lawn care game. It ain't going to be long. It's just based on, like I said, it's just based on like what you guys like to do within the career, whether or not you like the career, what you guys do, stuff like that. So um, it's kind of like trying to uh, get to know me or stuff like that. So it's that type of ordeal. Okay. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start eating on my supper and then and stuff like that. But then we can start, doing that. Chris, you know who this guy is, okay? All right. So with that all being said, we're going to, start, playing a lawn care game, but it's going to be in between 7:30 and 8:30. So if there's anybody, friends or family, or anybody that you want to get onto the chat, let's do it. I'm going to start on my supper. No, it ain't time for bed. It's too early, Chris. Maybe I should have waited to be eaten, but I got a good appetite, so I got to eat. I can't wait until this is all done. And plus, it's a whole nother food bank. Chris, I have to eat. Okay, this is a food bank video. Chris, stay out of it, okay? If you don't like to see me eat, get off until I'm done eating. And Saturday, you are coming over. Because I'm not doing anything Sunday. I'll be sleeping. Chris likes to have something like hiking, or he always wants to have something planned. But Saturday he'll be coming over. Otherwise, if he doesn't and he wants to plan it for Sunday, I'm not doing anything. I'll be sleeping. And one time I tried to sleep, he knocked on my window. I thought it was the darn police. He knocked so hard. All right, I'll be right back, y'all. No. Excuse me. I'm making something to drink, but I'll be right back. Into that office. I will be back into the office. The office is a pleasure to be in. Even though it's an office closet, I sure do love being in the closet office. And I sure do like doing lawn care services for people. People enjoy landscaping services, whether it's lawn care or some landscaping within the lawn care services. Anyway, I don't know if that was a good song or not, but I try to sing as much as I can. And yeah, I went and got something to drink. And if you guys can hear that, it's my refrigerator running. I got some drinks and stuff in there. And I did manage to get some picker uppers for whenever I go around and picking up trash. And as you can see, I actually got 2 recycle bins. There are buckets, but one's for trash and one's for recycling. And I have picker uppers, and they're foldable. That's really nice to have whenever you're trying to, pick up the litter from the people that drive and throw trash out the windows and stuff like that. So, helping environments out is awesome as much as needed. I do that on roadsides as much as it's needed, and stuff like that. Now, if it's 100 and something degrees out, or no matter what it could be, or whatever it could be, or whether or not it's something, it's going to be going on, like, pretty much ongoing. Now, I try to sing or do as much singing that I can, but this was the very first time you guys actually got to hear me sing on this YouTube live ongoing channel, so and so. So, pretty much at the church as of right now, they got dinner on the grounds and stuff. It's pretty good. I went for the first time, which was later in the evening, and then heard a little bit of the preaching, and then as soon as the preaching got done, we went and got the dinner on the ground, and that was pretty good. Or, I mean, it was good, not pretty good, but it was good. And you got to meet all the, church ministries and ministers and all of that and the preachers. It was all it's all good. As much as needed, the dinners on the ground was awesome. Now I'm going to tell you that when you do the lawn care lives and stuff like that, and you do everything to maintain everything, I'm going to be on here for quite a while talking. But people sometimes say that when I come on here, I like to hear myself talk, but I don't. Okay, I don't talk just to hear myself talk. I talk just to talk, but I don't talk to just to hear myself talk. Okay, I talk just to the people that are watching, to the lives and to the live chat. Now, there's not a whole lot of people chatting in this live chat. I only see Rolel, Chris Urich, and a few other people. But, as you can see, my uncle hardly ever gets on anymore. And I'm going to tell you what's a blessing is that I can actually put on the TV and watch myself over and over again. But I only watch it just to see how my stuff comes out and how my videos come out, and then I don't even watch the videos anymore. But now I'm changing it to where I watch at night because, I can do that. But here's the other thing is I'm trying to expand the YouTube channel to where I can actually do more and actually try to get commercials and ads and all that. But, it's not going to be near as easy as people think it's going to be. And for one, you got to be, you got to be good at what you're trying to do. If you're not good at what you're trying to do, people ain't going to want it and want what you're trying to get through with and stuff like that. But see, you got to do what you got to do within the church ministries and stuff like that. Now, I'm going to tell you, not everybody in the right minds know how to landscape, but that's one reason why we train up people, because you're not born to know how to do landscaping. You're not born to know how to wash a car, stuff like that. And you're not expected to know these things that I'm actually on here talking about. But you got to do what you got to do, whether or not you're working or whatever. Now, Chris Urich is actually a good guy to hang out with. He's a good guy to make you laugh. He's hysterical at times. But again, who isn't funny is my uncle Jeff Harris, because all he wants to do is pick and pick, and I don't like that. What I like is not being picked on, like how he's not on here picking and picking and going on. Okay, so that's something I don't, intend to say that I like, because I don't like it whenever he picks. He picks as hard. He doesn't cut me no slack. But I wish he would, because I don't appreciate him picking on me. And he ain't going to know that, but in a way he could, because here I am talking live. And he sometimes watches it. But as you can see, it's getting kind of dark out. And each time that it does get dark out, everything on my computer kind of changes. Like it goes from light to dark. It changes out. It's a pretty cool laptop when you got, when you can stand it up, do what you got to do to keep your stuff maintained. But the hardest thing to keep maintained, and I'll tell you, is yards. Because when you get that rain, which God forbid, I hope it does we get a pretty good of a chance of rain tomorrow. And I hope that we get a little bit of a good chance Saturday. And I hope that we definitely get a good chance on Sunday. But because that's going to help. It's going to help. And yes, we do get a few stick ups, but it's going to also help everything grow when it comes down to the mowing season and stuff like that. But if you go out and you're looking at your yards that you actually keep maintained and stuff, everything's dry and everything's, and there's a number of houses that, that don't even need to be mowed. But when it gets into the fall cleanups, the summertime cleanups, you're going to be mowing almost every day. Now, when it starts slowing down, you're going to have to put them on every 2 weeks. Now, there's some people that might want you to be putting them on a bi-weekly. And what that means is you might skip a day and go cut them. Skip a day, go cut them. Skip a day, cut them. So that's a bi-weekly. And you might be doing some that are on a bi-weekly, but you're not doing them as often. So that's what that means, or, stuff like that. But you want to be the smartest person. Like, you want to work smart, not hard. You know what I mean? That just takes the load off of your legs. It takes the load off of your back, and once you get into your 30s, your 50s, or your higher numbers, you're probably not going to be able to do a whole lot. Okay? So you want to try to protect, well, not protect, but, take care of yourself. Do what you got to do, do a little bit at a time. And that's what I do whenever I'm trying to clean up this room. I try to do, to do what I got to do, whether or not you're helping other people or doing what you got to do to help people out. I try to come on here, not talk crazy, not talk, foolish, but I try to make sense. You got to know what you got to do to know what you're doing, whether or not it's landscaping, lawn care season, and when you get out of that lawn care season, you want to make sure that everything's running right, making sure that you don't got to take it in to get tune-ups, all that good stuff. So, and that is what it is. You got to do it, and that's the same with a truck. You want to make sure it's running right. Making sure you don't need no tune-ups. Making sure that the oil is good and you don't need an oil change. That's a certain thing. And like I said on the last video that I did before tonight's video, there's a time and a place for everything. Meaning there's a time and place to be playing around and horse playing and, doing what you gotta do, There's a time and a place to play bowling. There's a time and place to play basketball, baseball, all them other sports. There's a time and a place for practice. There's a time and a place to practice cheerleading. There's a practice and a place for whatever. Who knows what it could be that you're trying to do or, do for a living or something like that. But there's going to be times that work is not going to be easy. Right now, I'm butthurt because there ain't no, yards to be mowed. Yes, like I said, there's going to be a few stick-ups, so you might be able to weed eat. But you're not doing like the whole thing, the whole 9 yards of yard care or whatever. So you're solo. You're so slow that you're not getting anything done and you're getting less money. But here's the thing. You want to make sure that you're making at least something, But with my point of view, I'm in no hurry to make money. I'm taking my time on this job that I'm doing as of right now that I'm on. But when stuff starts picking up, I'm going to be busy. And more busy. Because if you ask me right now today or tonight, whatever time it is, I'm actually still looking for employees. Or not employees, but I mean, more accounts to be working on. Right now, I don't have no money to be able to afford these employees that are going to be working with me. But as soon as I do, it's going to be a whole lot of a heck easier to be able to book them and be done with them. You know what I like to say about that? Book them, Terry. That always sets the mood when it comes to that. Okay, book them, Terry. Or you can say it like this: book them, Dano. That's another one. But you know what you want to do is you want to make sure that you're putting every yard in the books and going and doing them or writing them down so that you don't lose track on what day that you're doing these yards. This is how you might say, boss man, how do you stay tracked on what yards you do and blah blah blah. I get a calendar, I get a pen, and I mark out how many days in a row that I work, how many weeks I'm do it, how many hours and stuff like that. That's all in a hard weeks of whatever you may be doing. Okay, whether or not you're like I said, you're a cowboy, whether or not it don't matter where you're working at, pools, Pitch a Penny. Pitch a Penny's a pool company, so it's got to be you got to make sure that you're doing what you got to do, and you're not doing all this horse playing or playing around or lollygagging. You want to make sure that you're getting work done, and that's basically what I do. You might say, boss, I do work. Well, what we're at, you know what I mean? And you can tell me in the darn comments and between 7:30 and 8:30 because we're going to be playing a game. Now, you might say, how many hours did you work today? Well, I could say that I'm going to use this for an example. Say if you work 20 hours or 12 hours, you're making a decent amount of money, but you're probably not going to make near as much doing whatever it is you may be doing. So it's a little hard, and you don't want to be harsh to a company either. So they might be doing all they can do, but you don't want to be harsh to any company you may be working with, and stuff like that. Now, what's today? Today was the 26th. Tomorrow's the 27th. Good. I'm back on track here. But no, you want to make sure that you're doing what you got to do what you can. Okay? And you want to make sure that you're doing the right thing to make the money. So, and whether or not you're working with insulation, you want to make sure you're wearing a mask or something to keep you in line with whatever it is that you're probably doing. Because from now to probably about May or June or July, you're probably going to be slow, but coming in towards the summertime, which I don't know what month that could be in, but summertime when school's out, you're going to be booking them. You're going to be doing every yard, and you don't want as many yards that you're probably not going to be able to keep up with. So you want to get as many that you think in mind that you're going to be able to keep up with, and then don't take on any more unless they're small jobs. But other than that, you don't want to take any more on. You want to get as many, though, so that way you can book them and get more money. But once you get a handful and you don't know how many you got, that's when you don't want to book no more, and you don't want any more in the rosters or the books. You want to quit taking them on and keep that account. Okay? Now, I'm going to tell you, when I lived in Pasco County, I'm going to tell you from the start, when I first started, okay, in April, when I first started this lawn care business, way before I thought about quitting and doing this and that and yada, yada, yada. Back in April, I was trying to bust out getting yards in Pasco County. So many people blew me off because of COVID. COVID will do that. I'm going to tell you, the pandemic really, really messed you all up. The pandemic will do that. It will mess you all up to where you don't get a career going. But now it's slowed down, so now people are like really interested. And yes, I'll still see quite a few people wearing masks and everything, but do I think that's a bad thing? No. And people are still, protecting themselves and everything. But you want to still, when you get out, wash your hands frequently and stuff like that. But the pandemic really, really started messing people up where they could not work. They could not get out and do people's yards. It's just where people started blowing people off. Okay, they didn't want nothing done. Now it's slowed down some. People are wanting their yards. They want help doing their yard. They want help maintaining their yard. Stuff like that. They just want to keep up with that maintain. That whole maintaining the whole 9 yards, the whole everything. That's what it's going to be at. Price range. Well, we'll get to that here in a little bit. The price ranges. But as of right now, I don't want to discuss price ranges. I don't want to discuss it right now. But that will be a sooner day where I'm actually probably during the summer when I'm actually out there working and coming home with sweat on me is probably where we'll be talking about the price range. But as of right now is not the time to be talking about price ranges and stuff like that. But you want to also make sure, this is the best thing here. You want to also make sure that you're getting enough sleep to be able to do these yards. Like, you want to make sure you're going to bed early enough and getting up early enough to go do these yards and knock them out, because there might be a time that you're working 7 days a week. You might be working 8 hours a week. Most likely, if you're working like from Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday, you're going to be in a week of awakening, because that's a lot of yards to be taken on when you got to work all of them, counting weekends. That's going to be, I don't see how people do it. And I'm gonna tell you one thing. You're gonna get people to call you, and you're not gonna know what the price on when they call you, because you got to look at it like this. When people call you and they want their yard done, you can't price it right there. You got to go to the job and look at it. You can't, and say if they video call you and try to show you the property, you can't price something looking at the camera. You got to be there in person to price something. So, the best way to tell somebody that is by verbal. You speak it, okay? You speak it and you tell them, because they're not going to read your mind to know what you're trying to tell them. They're not going to speak the whole thing from you. They're not going to tell by reading your mind or reading your eyeballs or reading your lips. They're not going to know. So verbal, say it. You got to tell them. You can't expect them to know things. Okay? So, you got to make sure that you're doing the right thing, pricing the right thing, which we're going to go over that probably when I'm actually working summertime and coming into the mowing season. So just stay tuned for that. And like I said, in between 7:30 and 8:30, we'll be back on here. We're going to take a slight break. We'll come back on here. We'll play a little game. So, if you got anybody that will play the game with us, maybe if you got brothers or sisters, see if they want to play the game. It's going to be pretty simple. So I'm going to make some phone calls, let people know that we're going to be playing a game in between 7:30 and 8:30. And if they want to play, then they can do that. Yeah, so we can do that and we can have fun with it. This is going to be something fun. And I do appreciate, I'm going to tell you guys how much I do appreciate you all watching. I really love the likes. I love the people that watch. It's phenomenal. I'm going to tell you, it's phenomenal to watch all you guys make this business grow. But I want way more viewers. And I don't know how in the world I'll be able to get all these viewers and way more people than usual to watch. But I'm wanting 100 and something subscribers and people watching these YouTube lives when I get a GoPro. And if you guys want me to go live, whenever I go live or whatever, or start doing a camera video, you guys can tell me go live or whatever, and I'll go live. I won't have a problem going live. as long as people will stay on and watch this live channel grow. Watching me, grow the business, making actual money would be the best bet for y'all. Now, there's going to be a time that I won't be able to record. I'm going to tell you that right now. There's going to be a time that I won't be able to record because I'm working fast, and I want to make near as much money that I do whenever I'm was out of business. So that's one thing that I try to focus with is how much money I'm going to make, how much everything that I can make. But I am going to talk to quite a few customers once I get them to see if I can't record on these properties. But I'm not going to be that person that, vokes addresses and links them out or anything like that. I'm not going to be that person. Now, some people might do that, but I don't do that. You know what I mean? I will never do that. I won't ever give anybody's address out. I won't give their phone number out. That's the one thing that I will not do. Okay. I might say, oh, yeah, I'm going to do it, but I might, no, I'm just kidding and joking around. But here's the thing, if you get the wrong person and you joke around like that, they are not going to be no longer your friend. Now, I'm going to tell you, okay, if you guys want to talk and call, my phone number, it's out there. It's 813-497-3970. So if there's ever a time that you guys want to talk or about anything, you guys can give me a call. I'm always around to talk to a phone. I'm or on the phone. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I am not always around because God forbid if somebody needs me, I'm here. So, you just want to think about what's going to be easier for you and what's nicer for you. But we're going to take a nice little break here, and I will be back probably around 7 o'clock. I'm going to keep this going, but somewhere in between 7 o'clock, I will be back on here um, and stuff like that. So, um, yeah. So 7 o'clock, I will be back on here. If you guys have questions, just go ahead and link them down and stuff like that. We'll just go from there. But I am going to leave this up until then. I'm going to shut this door so that way there's no background noises. But I am going to be right outside the office listening, watching some Heartland. But I'm gonna have this on mute so I don't get copyrighted or anything. But I got to take my hat off to y'all for watching because it's amazing. But again, I'm going to put this on mute and I will catch you guys back at 7 o'clock on the dot. 7 o'clock on the dot, or I can make it in between 6:50, but more like 6:57. I should be back on here or right at 7 o'clock. So if I'm late, it's going to be in between. Okay. All right, y'all. Stay tuned. Oh, here I am forgetting that I'm on mute. As soon as I come back with getting a drink, I forgot I was on mute. Sorry. Here I am talking to myself. What I had said was I'm going to write down some questions here on what we're going to be playing. And in between 7:30 and 8:30, I'm going to start beginning these questions. Now, I'm going to go get my drink right quick, and I will be right back. Hang tight. All right, so I'm back now. I'm getting myself a drink. It's oh man, what's it called? It kind of looks like what is it? It kind of looks like what am I thinking of? Oh, you guys can help me if need be, or if you guys want to. I'm trying to think of it. Oh, pickle juice. It almost reminds me of pickle juice, but it's not pickle juice. It's Mountain Dew. Anyway, I do like pickle juice. I do drink it sometimes. It's really good. Now, as I'm writing this questions down, I will. I'm sorry that I forget that I put myself on mute, and then when I come back, I start talking. It's it's crazy how it all works, but I'm sorry about that, y'all. All right, so I'm gonna write these questions down. I'm over here trying to my hardest to write this stuff down. All right. We are going to start with whoever wants to go first can go first. With asking me a question, or if they want me to go first, all they gotta really say is go first. And I can go first. So but they gotta tell me to go first because otherwise, it is what it is. And I put for the top list of this, I put Cardinal on life, questions. What does people like to do for their career? What do you guys do for your career? How do you like it? And stuff like that. So it's just going to be pretty simple. It's kind of like get to know me type of deal. It's kind of like that. Kind of like if you're having an interview with somebody, or you're just trying to get to know them, stuff like that. It's almost like you're having an interview, but not really. Okay. All right. So I'm pretty sure we are good to rock and roll with what we got here right now, as of right now. So we can start at 7:30, right at 7:30, in between 8:30. So whatever. We are ready to go. I got the questions written down. So I put Cardinal on life, line questions. or whatever questions they want to ask. It's a little game that we're going to play for the Lawn Life career. Okay, we're going to have a little fun tonight here on this live channel. Seems how it's almost Friday night. And I will probably be back Sunday. We're going to do this probably not every week of a lawn care maintenance service game, but whatever game you guys can think with, we can do it. Like one day we can do an I Spy game or whatever, but it's got to be something that's in the office. Okay, so we'll do that. We'll do a little I Spy game. Okay, so I'll write the questions down, or we'll do something fun. I'll think of something that we can play and do to where we can actually have a little bit of that case of scenario fun. Okay, I try to think of what we're gonna have for fun here, but it is what it is when it comes to fun. And you might say, what fun are we talking about? Well, we just got back from a little bit of a break, but here we are again. Okay. I forgot that I was kind of on mute, and here I was mumbling, talking to myself whenever I was trying to talk to you guys, and found out that I looked down here at the bottom screen of my computer and seen that I was on mute. But I kind of like this career type of thing because I can actually talk about my career, how far I came, what I've done, stuff like that. What not to do, what the safe thing is to do, stuff like that, and what I've been, coped with, and stuff like that. But here it is, being at somewhat time, and you just don't know. I mean, you don't know what you're going to be getting into within the next day, the next morning. Okay. But I do know for a fact that I know what yards are going to need to be mowed, what numbers are going to need to be cut at, what depth they're going to be mowed at, and how the yards are going to be whenever I show up. It could be wet, it could be dewy, it could be, and it could be high, it could be, somewhat good, it could be looking like it needs to be mowed, it could be, I just know. I know just a little bit about everything and how it needs to be mowed. I know how it's going to be needing to be cut. I know how to, weed. I know where it's going to need to be weed eated at, because this is the same depth almost every time when you're cutting out a weed eater. But you want to make sure that you're not cutting straight like all times. You want to make sure that you're tilted just a little bit. That way that weed eater don't scalp the yard, kind of like a lawnmower would do. Okay. Now, an edger, you're not going to scalp a yard with that. It just edges concrete. Now, I do have a picture of the concrete that I had cleaned up at this customer's house. Now, it was buried before, and now it ain't. You can look at how it was and what it looked like before and all that other good stuff. And it was a good thing. It was a good thing, not a bad thing. But it could be that you know what you're gonna want to be at. It's like one of them ordeals. Now, the concrete that I did that was buried, you couldn't have seen it. Now you can. You could see it perfect. Yes, there's still a little bit of dirt, but what are you gonna do with it? You know what I mean? I'm gonna zoom in. It looks about like that. Well, I mean, it does look like that. So it's real easy. Hang on one second, you guys. I'll be right back. Hey y'all, I'm back. So what I'm gonna do is I'm having to do some folding laundry. So we're gonna do a little bit of recording on that one. Okay. This is something that has to be done as of right now. So I'm gonna make space. And I'm gonna do what I have to do here to start folding what I gotta do. Okay. So it's gonna be a little bit of fun. Excuse that. I'm actually, I don't know, but I don't know. It's crazy, but you're probably going to see me pop up on the TV. I don't know. So it is what it is. It's got to do what I got to do when it comes to folding laundry. This is a towel that I got. Spider-Man. Yeah, see that there I am right there. It's crazy. So it is what it is when I go into it. Because I'm right there on the TV now. So I gotta fold some laundry, so we're gonna do that here. I got some pants here that I gotta fold up. And get that done right there. Right down to business. These are ridge cut pants. They're good. Got them from Tractor Supply. I ain't got nothing against Tractor Supply, but they're good. When you got to do what you got to do in the long run business. So you got to run around and get it. You run around getting it. So it's you got to do what you got to do to keep busy. That's with any type of business you're in. But at times you got to do what. So you got clean clothes or something for the weekend. You want to make sure that you're doing all your clothes. You're making sure you're doing everything that you got to do on a bit long run business. Now, this is stuff that everybody's got to do is fold laundry, and and I don't have nothing against it. But cause I find it very relaxing when you got to fold laundry. But again, I got a little bit of stuff to do, but this is adult stuff, living life and living, type of what's the word I'm looking for? Learn type of deal. Okay, so it is what it is, and you got to kind of do what you got to do when it comes to into the lawn business and everything, and pretty much. So back behind me, back beyond her, I got me on the video call folding laundry. Well, this ain't no video call, but you know what I mean. I'm on a live YouTube video, and this is running, so I don't understand it. So I really don't understand it. Okay, so it's a weird case of scenario that I'm actually in. I'm not here to be rude, weird. So what you got to do here within long care of business. Now, here's the business shirt. I've showed this several numerous times, but here's the one thing about this is I do not have a what do you call it? Where you can actually buy stuff, but I don't have that. I don't think I want it because I don't know how to really explain it. I just don't follow up with giving out stuff like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make me a quick phone call if I can find my phone right quick. So I'm going to call my Uncle Jeff Harris. and we'll be right there in a second. We're going to get on with it here in a second, buddy. Hey, you ain't going to believe this, but I got my YouTube propped up to where I'm actually on TV and you can actually see it. For real. Get on there and check it out, buddy. That's funny. Bye. Yeah. So I got this up and everything else. So it's a good one. Now I don't know how that also. I don't know. I was just watching TV and all of a sudden that popped up. I come outside of the closet and next thing you know, I see a chair and whatever else back behind me. Something crazy. Anyway, there's nothing to see here. Just folding laundry. You gotta do what you gotta do to have work clothes. So this right here is a really good shirt. It's like a fishing shirt, but I use it for a work shirt. It's a very good material. But I do have YouTube video back behind me. Next will be socks. I'm making a pile for socks. And then yeah. So this is stuff that living and learning long life. This is something that you got to do. I'm not going to sit here and say that I like doing it, but in a way, I find it very common. I said that before. So. Anyways, this is a part of adult life. You got to fold laundry. Some people might like doing laundry, but some people might not. And I want to tell you, my shout out goes to my grandpa. I'll tell you a story about him here in a minute. I'll tell you, and I'm going to tell you, I'll tell you guys there in a minute, but it's pretty hilarious when, stuff actually happens. But it's one of them things that you probably had to be here for, but I'm still going to tell you, but give me a second. Nothing wrong with a little bit of laundry. But I do got some socks that I gotta fold up. Sorry if that was a little bit of shaky, but I'm trying to get this stuff done so I can go back to my office. So, in a way, this is a little bit of work that had to be done. All right, let me grab my camera. Sorry, that was a little shaky there, a little much. Trying not to make you guys dizzy here. Sorry about that, y'all. All right, so that all got done. So, trying to fold a little bit of socks here. Now that I'm in my office closet, sorry, stuttering with a little bit of, words here a little bit. And this, like I said, there's a little bit of stuff that had to be done. It just had to be done. Because I didn't have any clothes for the next work week. But y'all just hang tight for 1 second here. Ow. That hurt. I just stubbed my toe right into my desk. Whew. Man, that was a hurt. That was a hurting. I put on a hurting, boys. I put on a hurting. Anyway, sorry about that, y'all. This was very, very intense here, But this is a very, very good ego live channel here. So I'm gonna get me a little drink here. Y'all give me a little bit of a second. Yeah, this right here is my office closet. And this is where I do all my hanging out. I used to be out in the actual room, but then I got tired of being out there and said to myself pretty much that I wanted to be in here. Now, let me tell you something. I'm going to give you a little bit of a shout out here, okay, to my grandpa. I'm giving my grandpa a little bit of a shout out. Every time that I grab a broom and sweep our kitchen, just to make the kitchen look good, he always goes, "Oh, you're going to make somebody a good housewife." So I just thought I would come on here and give him a little bit of a shout out. And that's what I'm, no matter what, if I'm sweeping the floor or vacuuming up the floor, he always says I would make somebody a good housewife. So I just wanted to come on here and mention that. And yes, like I said, I'm a big NASCAR fan. I got a collectibles item from a good customer of mine. And the car is actually up on top of the fireplace right outside the office right now. And if need be, I could grab it, show it to y'all. But I'm going to wait for another video to actually show that to you. Just because it's already coming on to where it's almost 8:30 or 8 o'clock. So I don't want to be, on here too much longer, taking up all you guys' time whenever, there's already 2 of y'all on here. But again, I don't want to take too much of y'all's time if I don't have to, or, do what I need. But within lawn care services, you got to do what you got to do. So, within the business, you got to do what you got to do. So when it comes into that, you're doing what you got to do. Now, I'm going to tell you some bad foods for you, okay? It's going to be, if you eat too many corn dogs that's got salt on it, you're not looking for a very good, something. So, same with Vienna sausages, they got a lot of salt. I'm pretty sure there's plenty more of other foods that I can probably go on about that's got some salt, and that ain't very good for you. But I'm not on that. I'm not about that. So, and judging people how to eat and what not to eat, because this is Cardinal non-life, and I'm not about that. But if you're gonna, it's all right to pick on people, but you want to do it just a little bit, not do it constantly. You want to cut them some slack if you're gonna pick on them. I try to come on here and talk about what I can and do what I can, but it is what it is. Now, y'all want to hang tight for a second? I'll be right back. I'm sorry that I keep leaving. I just got a lot going on. I got to go and do something really quick, and it's very important, so I'll be right back. Hang tight. All right, y'all. I'm back. Sorry. I'm trying to get through this as fast as I can. I got a lot going on here. I'm still pretty much working. That's the whole thing. Oh wow, I've been on here for quite a while now. This is a good live. I'm so happy. I'm sorry. I'm getting a little carried away. I looked at this and at the very top, and I've been on here for 3, 4, 28 seconds or minutes or whatever, and this is perfect. Oh man, if only I had a bunch more subscribers and more people watching, that would be a blessing, and more likes, that would be, but people got to give the word of mouth out about this is what I do, this is what I'm doing for a living. But I also want to make a point that I do want to make some videos on people's yards and getting some content out there from working and getting a GoPro and this and yada yada yada. But yeah, there's a lot of time into it, you know what I mean? You got to do way more than what you're doing now, but you're going to get to where you need way more accounts. But you got to do what you got to do when it comes to that. There's points in lives and stuff like that, but there's more that you really, really got to take place. Now, I'm going to tell you, my Uncle Jeff Harris wants to pick and pick and pick, and he never gives me no slack. But here's the thing, you got to drop the change on him. What I mean is, you want to drop all the $1,000,000 on top of him just to get you, or just to get him to stop picking. And he made me look horrible when it come to doing this YouTube live, because I'm going to tell you how. Okay, he made me so mad and irritated to where I come on here and I outraged. And I didn't mean to do that, but he knows what he did wrong. I didn't mean to do it. I didn't mean to tend to do it. But and if I did, I really didn't do it on purpose. But he knows what he might have done. But it's it is what it is. And I'm, like I said, I'm a big NASCAR fan. And I'm always gonna be a NASCAR fan. I'm gonna watch them up until, like I said, Kyle Busch and Denny Hamlin retires. and I'm probably gonna watch them Saturday, or not Saturday, but Sunday. This coming up Sunday, I'm probably gonna watch them and and cheer uh, Kyle Busch on, and both of my drivers, because both I got two, not just one driver, but I got two. And I'm pretty sure both of them are going to be retiring. I don't know if they're going to retire at the same time, but I know they're going to be retiring real soon, is what I'm hearing. So it's going to be a real sad day for me. And of course, I probably will be going live right when they retire to tell you all what happened. But I'm not looking to, but they've been long time drivers, and I've been a long time, Kyle Busch fan. Always will be. You can just look it out. You can think about it. You can think of it like this: I'm a young kid that likes NASCAR, and I'm a young kid trying to do lawn care, make a little side cash here. No, not side cash, not as much as side cash, but making that money. So helping people with yards, and doing what I can. But yet you got to do what you got to do, and do what you can to help people out. You're not going to just sit there and tell people how to run their business, because you ain't got it like that. But at least you're trying to help people make the money that they can. So, and he don't drive M&M no more. He used to, but now he's got a new car. I guess it's number 8, and this is his old car, number 18. Yeah, 18 is his old car, and stuff like that. So you got to do what you can. And if there's like I said, friends or family, you can, you know what I mean. Do what you can. So, and my aunt kind of picked. I'm gonna give my aunt a shout out tonight. Her name goes to Jackie Earhart, and she had said, "Oh, when I first wore this, which was last night after it got washed, oh, I'm just waiting for you to say, oh, welcome to McDonald's. How can I help you?" Because I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you. It does kind of look like one of them hats, McDonald's. Here they, but it's like one of them McDonald's, visors. But it is what it is, and you got to do what you can just to make what you can out of a living. Don't work hard, but don't work too hard where you fate. No, I'm kidding. But you do want to make as near as much money as you can. Now, I'm going to tell you that I do want so many commercials, but like I said at the very beginning of this YouTube channel, you want to make sure that whenever you have just enough accounts that you can actually handle, but you don't want to take too much on to where you can't handle too much. You know what I mean? So you want to make sure that when you got that much, that you stop. You don't want to take no money. You don't want to take nobody else on. You want to make sure you got enough. But see, I'm still working at it, and getting at it. So once I get at it and I get enough accounts, I'm not taking any more on. I'm quitting. I'm putting a stop to it, and I'm going to do the ones that I got. So, but then I'm going to work on getting employees. I'm gonna work on that. But it's not going to be anytime soon. But I already found one. I already found one. I'm going to go ahead and tell you all about him. He's just a young kid that saw me out the other day, and he asked me if I was hiring. I said, not right now, but are you in school? He said, yeah. I said, see, that's going to be a little bit hard for me to get you. But now I got into thinking that maybe this summer I can get him on a little bit of yards whenever, and get him trained up, of course, and get him capable of what he might be working with. But you don't want to work somebody too hard, but you also want to make sure that they're capable with, doing the work that you're doing, making sure they got plenty of water and whatever, because you don't want them to get too hydrated and then pass out. So you want to avoid that from happening. You want to make sure they got everything that they need. That's just the main thing. I always try to face it when I talk about this stuff, because otherwise, it's not going to be the very best thing that's going to happen. But you want to make sure it's the best of it, making sure the kids got the best of it, and I'm going to tell you, I live the best life. always will, always have. And I enjoy this customer that I'm working for right now today, and that I'm actually going to be going back to Monday or Tuesday one. So I bless her for everything, and I help her, and I do appreciate her. I help, and I'm pretty sure that she thanks me for the service that I have gave to her, you know, and even when I came in and out of the business, I'm pretty sure she still thinks of me like the best helper that she's ever had. And that means a lot to me when people look at me and they tell me that I'm doing a great job. That really tells me that I'm trying my hardest to get work. That tells me right there and then that I'm really trying to pick up some work. That tells me a lot. That comes on to a lot. That means a lot. It just means a whole lot to me. Now, there's some people that when I first started doing this live, that they still watch me from now to whenever I don't do these YouTube videos no more. But, I'm going to be a long time YouTuber that shows people how to cut yawns, how to ride horses, and stuff like that. I'm going to always be the somebody on YouTube that shows somebody how to do something the right way. And I'm already starting to sweat as it is because I'm just on here talking about the truth on how to do something the safe way and within the safe manner. So how do you remove something real carefully? Well, you got to do it carefully. You can't just force something to come out of the ground because then you'll break something. So whether it's on your body or on the property, you know what I'm saying? So, you just got to be capable of making sure that because you don't stay young forever. Everybody's just, they ain't got it like that. So, and, God's good to us. I'm going to tell you, God has been good. He's perfect. And, there's nobody perfect, but God is. There's nobody but God that is perfect. Okay, I'm just going to tell you. And Jesus, I'm going to tell you, he don't like ugly. He wants people to be taking care of neighbors the right way and not the wrong way. He wants people to charge them the right amount, not too high. That's what I like to look at. And you might say, amen, brother. Now, you got to do what you got to do when it comes to whether or not you want to be a landscaper, whether or not you want to be a cowboy, whether or not you want to be a mechanic, whether or not you want to be a fast food restaurant, buffet, whatever, whether or not you want to, do what you got to do. You know what I mean? So it's one of them ordeals. Okay. You want to make sure you're doing what is right for the customers, the right way for the employees, everything. You want to make sure that you're not taking advantage of people. You take advantage of somebody, they're not going to want you back. So that's the one thing after another thing. And if you need money, all you got to do is tell somebody. They'll give you some money. But you don't want to do a highway robbery to where they're broke. That's the one thing. After the one thing, you got to focus on it. You got to do the right thing and not the wrong thing. So this was the longest video I've ever made. But, this has been a good one. Maybe I might get commercials on this YouTube video. Who knows? Maybe I might get ads on this. Because I'm doing a great job as of right now in keeping this business going and rolling. Okay? Whether or not NASCAR is real or fake, there's always going to be NASCAR on Sundays. And you guys got to be, you got to do what you got to do. You can't just do something that you don't want to do, but there's always going to be something out there for y'all. So, it's always good to know that friends are there for you. It's always good that neighbors are there for you. And I always say, Live to fight another day. I say that every morning before I get out of bed. Living another life to fight another day. And I thank God every time I wake up, because there's a lot of people that probably don't even wake up for the next days. So you got to be blessed for whenever you wake up. You got to tell God, thank you. Thank you. Thank you for yesterday. Thank you for today. Thank you for, everything. You got to be grateful for everything. You can't be hateful. You just can't. You got to be thankful for everything. Every little thing you got. It ain't free. Cars ain't free. Trucks ain't free. Phones ain't free. The phone services ain't free. The phone has to be paid. The phone bills have to be paid. House payments have to be paid. Otherwise, if you don't pay them, they're just going to get, who knows? And I feel bad for the homeless people out there holding signs when they could have a roof over their head and stuff like that. So you might say, what's the safe manner? Well, the safe manner is not to be on a street. But some people out there that are homeless, they can't help being that. They can't help it. But yes, there's a lot of us that could be out there like that with no food. But you got to be thankful for God, and you got to be thankful for Jesus. I can't see me or my family or anybody like that. That's why I try to help out and trying to get a business right now to help my family out. That's why I try to do the stuff that I do to do what I do. There's a lot of people out there that don't even have families that are starving for their lives. So I'm going to end it at that. And I just hope that everybody has a great night. I'm glad that I was on here for this long matter of time. And I'm sorry for, putting myself on mute and then acting like, that you guys could hear me. I just forgot that I was on mute. But it's a blessing, It really is. When you can get out there and have a career, it's a blessing. No matter who you are, I'm not saying this to be funny. I'm not saying it to be hilarious or anything, but there is a time and a place for every little thing, every little step. You got to take one step after another step just to have a business. And this business career is going to come a long way if I stay in it and not go out of it again. So, and I want to get a GoPro as much as I say I want to get a GoPro. I'm being that serious because I want to have content out on my channel showing people how much work I do to make a living. You know what I mean? And yes, there's times that I do a church for free, and that's because I like to do it for the Lord. I don't want to do it for anything. If I get enough accounts, I don't have to do a church for, I don't have to do it. Here's the thing. I don't have to do a church for anything. But here's the thing. I'm choosing to do it for free because it's the only thing that comes to mind to do it for the Lord. The Lord's all we have right now. We have to have faith in the Lord. With YouTube, the way it is right now, you can't go praying. They got something against praying. But the Lord has been good to us. He's done a lot to us. There's times that, you're not going to be able to do a lot of stuff. But I'm being serious right now. There's things that we couldn't have right now. There's things that I couldn't have right now. If it wasn't for my family right now, I could be out on the street. And here they are taking me in. I could have nothing right now. There's things right now that I am grateful for. And here I am preaching it. And I'm proud that I'm out here preaching it because this is stuff that I can't just let go behind me. I'm actually going to stay a little bit over time right now because this is stuff I got on my heart that I got to take off my heart. I'm grateful that I got a customer that's letting me work. Whether or not it's landscaping or lawn care or whatever, but I'm actually working. We got to have faith in every little step we got. You know what I mean? We have to have friends. We have to have family. If we didn't have friends, what would we do? If we didn't have family, what would we do? You know? Let's face it, we wouldn't have anything if it wasn't for friends and family. We wouldn't have anything. If we didn't have grocery stores, if we didn't have, let's put it like this: we didn't have grocery stores. What would we do? We would be starving. We wouldn't have no food in our bodies to help us stay alive. So you might say, how do we do this? How do we do that? How are we going to do what we got to do? Well, get a job, make money. Government ain't free. Gas ain't free. Ain't nothing in the world for free. What am I going to do? Oh, here, take this. This is free. No, you got to have money to buy the things you got. What if it wasn't for hats or whatever, like my business shirts and business hat? What would I do? We wouldn't have nothing. Absolutely nothing if it was for that. I'm grateful that I have my dad. I'm grateful that I got my aunt, my grandpa. There could be a lot of things that I could not be thankful for. But I'm thankful for them. There's a lot of things that I could be grateful for. No matter what it is. I'm grateful that I got a church, but I ain't been going because I watch it live on my TV. But did I watch it live tonight? No. I'd much rather be doing this and talking what I can talk about. YouTube is what I like to do. Landscaping and lawn care is what I like to do. But do I talk about the Lord? Yes, because the Lord means a lot to me. Do I talk about Trump? Yes, Trump is a good guy. I ain't got nothing against him. Because he's trying to get the prices down on foods back down. And you know what? Thumbs up to him. I ain't got nothing against him now because he's doing what he needs to do. Thank God. Amen, brother. Well, here's what I think. That I'm doing the best I can. I look at it like I'm glad I got a customer. All right. I've had enough. I had to get off what I had. So if you like this video, we will do some more games and stuff like that. But more content, sharing this YouTube video out. I will come back on here in a few days and talking about what the God and the Lord has got. But there is a lot more things out there that we cannot be thankful for, which is I'm thankful that I got an office, a closet office. There could be a lot. I could be outside right now, sitting on a sidewalk, being hungry. But I'm not, because I got family to take care of me, and I'm taking care of them. There's always a way for that. Now, am I sitting here and being funny? No, I'm talking the truth. It hurts to see people homeless. It hurts to see people outside on a sidewalk with their dogs when they could be having a roof over their head and feeding them dogs. I feel bad for the dogs that actually, what it is. But I'm grateful for every little thing that I got. I'm grateful every morning that I wake up. There could be things that I cannot be thankful for. But I'm thankful for every little thing I got. I'm thankful for the things I got for my birthday, for Christmas, everything else. And there could be a lot of things, again, that I could not be thankful for. Anyway, y'all have a great night. This is Cardinal Lawn Life. Keep growing, keep making money, boys. And I will be back on here probably Sunday. Just keep a close eye out when NASCAR is on. and we will go from there. I'm getting a phone call as of right now, and I will be right back with y'all. Have a great night, y'all. See ya.